Police not really releasing a motive at this point. However, investigators not ruling out the fact that this could potentially have been a racially motivated situation. But of course, we will update you as soon as we learn anything new.
Mara, thank you. And the Associated Press reporting that 4 of the victims are of Korean descent, according to South Korea's foreign ministry. These killings are once again highlighting a recent wave in anti-Asian violence in the U.S. And this morning, the hashtag #StopAsianHate is all over our social media feeds. Liza, are local leaders among those calling for an end to the violence?
That's right. We've been hearing from many overnight, and we expect more conversation to continue throughout the morning as these details continue to emerge. And we want to bring to light one of the tweets that we also saw overnight. This statement coming from the group Stop AAPI Hate, again, that Asian American Pacific Islanders hate group right there, and they basically calling this an unspeakable tragedy, not only for the families of the victims first and foremost, but also for the community at whole. And that's what we're really seeing on social media. So many people rallying around this hashtag #StopAsianHate. In the meantime, we want to bring you to the attention of Governor Kemp's tweet. He talks about praying for the families of these victims and also commending the quick action of law enforcement as well, and responding and apprehending the suspect Long right there. Now, we've been following the conversation across social media, and this has really been a national one, not only here locally, but from D.C. to Seattle. We saw a joint statement coming down from the mayor of Seattle as well as their chief of police, and they called the violence in Atlanta an act of hate. They say they're also grieving with the families, and they also plan to amp up police patrol in that community as well. Devastating. You can see comments just coming in. Tragic. Many standing in support with the Asian American community as all of this unfolds. A huge conversation happening online this morning.
Liza, one thing missing from this conversation is the surge in the discriminatory phrase China virus being used compared to 2019 to 2020 and now even this year. Studies finding that this term has led to a rise in anti-Asian hate crimes, past attacks, bias, and now we have the shooting spree. I want to bring in Francesca now with some research on the anti-Asian hate incidents happening all across the country, how they've been on the rise, and this report is staggering, Francesca.
Staggering is the word, and a disproportionate number of attacks have actually been aimed at women, Sheba. Nearly 3,800 incidents of hate were reported over the course of about a year during the pandemic. According to the organization Stop Asian American and Pacific Islander Hate, this includes shunning, slurs, and physical attacks on Asian people. And that's about 1,000 more than last year's count. Although these numbers were recorded over the span of 5 months, and women were victims in about 68% of those incidents. Now, there have been protests across the country to stop the violence, and tomorrow the House Judiciary Committee is holding a hearing against discrimination and violence against Asian Americans, Sheba. And again, I also want to mention that I have quite a few people who live in this community who are of the Asian community, and they're sharing many resources. I'm educating myself as well. One of the resources that I have clung to is hateIsAvirus.org. HateIsAvirus.org. It's an opportunity for you to donate. They provide virtual education opportunities for us to really just exonerate and just or get rid of rather xenophobia in America.
The Asian American community, they have been ringing the alarm bells for months and months now. And I really hope that people sit up and listen now. Yeah. I would hate, I hate that it's come to this tragedy for people to really become awakened to what's going on against Asian Americans, Asians in this country. But here we are, and this mass shooting spree happening right here in our community. It's just sad. Francesca, thank you. We are staying on top of any updates to the story over on 11alive.com, and you can download our 11 Alive app for breaking news alerts.